So this is just a little bit different. He isn't a football coach, but sometimes I think he sort of has to be watching what baseball managers have to do. But I'm really happy to be at Progressive Field and talking to Terry Francona. Two topics when we're passing through Cleveland I really wanted to ask him about, and one is sort of the lessons from Bill Belichick, the lessons from the Patriots that you learned all of those years when you were in Boston.
Well, it's hard not to be in Boston for 8 years and not to follow the Patriots or to admire or to respect what they did and how they did it. I was much closer with Scott Pioli.
Right. The longtime personnel guy. Yeah.
Who would come visit me all the time. And Bill would reach out from time to time. And, you don't want to bother them when they're playing. But the way they did things, I mean, their dedication to excellence was just, I mean, it's still there. It hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
I mean, and Scott Pioli still comes to spring training to visit me. So, I mean, that the friendship, through that friendship, you can't help but I've asked Scott 1,000 questions about Bill just because that's my avenue into it.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough of it.
Yeah. Is Belichick the kind of guy, in your opinion, maybe like, Brad Stevens of the Celtics has been down there, they got a good relationship with the Bruins, is part of coaching, managing universal so that you can truly learn stuff from Belichick?
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is you got to be true to your own personality. We have vastly different personalities.
Right.
And you have to know that, because if you don't stay to your true personality, players don't have to be Ivy Leaguers. They'll see right through it. They know if you're not being true to yourself.
Yeah.
So you got to be true to yourself. But there's things that you believe in as a team that you try to never sacrifice.
Yeah. Is there any meeting or time you ever spent with Belichick that sticks out in your mind?
No, you know what? When I'd go to the football games, I'd always be very quiet and hesitant because that's their time.
Right.
And I know how I feel. We play every day. They play once a week. And when he'd come down to spring training where it's a little more relaxed, the problem was, like the one time he came down where he could spend some time, I had to send guys down that day. So
Wow.
I wasn't very relaxed. My head was like going 1,000 miles an hour. But, I mean, I've had Scott Pioli, like I said, he comes every spring.
Right.
And I always let him sit in the dugout because I just love talking to him. And it's just listening to somebody that understands what we go through, and he goes through it. Yeah, it's a different sport, but it's the same challenges.
I've always thought that the rarity of Belichick, and watching you, I think it's probably the same. You're in the 7th game of the World Series, and you have to act like it's every other day because you need to think straight. And Belichick, you look at him and it looks like every day is exactly the same. He never gets the high blood pressure. But is that one of the keys when you have to make the big decisions, there's not a lot of noise in your head?
Well, the way I kind of say it is trying to have common sense when common sense isn't the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
You got your emotions and everything's at play, and there's noise coming from every different direction, and you want to use common sense. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. What has it been like this spring and summer watching the Cleveland Browns sort of come alive for you, the other team? You've had so much more success in your tenure than the Browns have had since you got here.
Well, and I got to put this out there as a caveat.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up 30 minutes from Three River Stadium, so, with Chuck Noll.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the Immaculate Reception in my living room with my dad, and, I have a...
What do you remember about the game, by the way?
Kidding me? I remember that Bradshaw, the ball hit off of, was it Tatum's or...
Jack Tatum, right? Yeah.
And Franco picks it up right here and goes. And I remember thinking he wasn't going to make it to the end zone. And then I remember the referees conferring, and I remember thinking they're never going to overrule us because they'll never get out of there alive. But I was probably 11, 12 years old. I mean, but anyway, I mean, I grew up a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
Now I'm here in Cleveland. I'm smart enough. I have I have a Browns helmet and a Browns jersey in my office. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that there's a little...
But for the city, what has it been like to watch sort of their rebirth this offseason?
You know what? I'm happy. Anytime, like when LeBron was here, I was happy for the city because Cleveland kind of sometimes gets a tough rap, and
Yeah.
I think they're starting to fight back.
Yeah.
And to see all the people excited. I mean, Baker Mayfield was here the other night, and the place went crazy.
Yeah.
I don't ever wish the city I'm in, the other sports, ill will, so we can have more fans.
Right.
You want it to be interesting. You want to have something to look at. When the Cavs had their parade, I went to the top of the stadium, and I watched them go around Carnegie, and it was unbelievable to see the outpouring, the way the fans reacted to them.
When people win in Cleveland, I've said, if the Browns ever win here, it will be unlike anything in this city's history, I think. Because look, back in the 60s, the Paul Brown era, they didn't have parade. Well, they may have had parades, but it wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what would happen if the Browns ever won a Super Bowl.
Wow. And shoot, I'm guessing here, when they get to 500, they're going to go pretty crazy, because they're already talking like, they're amazing.
They're kind of putting the fans are putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
But they're excited. And
Yeah.
I get it. They want to be excited.
Yeah.
But this kid has given everybody a reason that's a football fan here to be excited.
He's kind of fun to watch, huh?
He's real fun to watch. And
yeah.
that's, the charisma. There's something, you obviously got to have talent, but he's got the charisma and the competitiveness that goes with it.
If you had one piece of advice to give Freddy Kitchens as he starts on his head coaching career in the NFL, as somebody who's been a manager forever at the absolute highest level of baseball, what would you say to him?
Be true to yourself. And I think if you put the players and the organization first, your situation will always take care of itself. I felt that way when I was a AA manager in Birmingham, making $28,000 a year, and I feel the same way now. And I believe in that.
Terry, thanks a lot.
Peter, my pleasure.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.